welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so you guys are looking at the A-Serial Pepsi, which comes from about the year 1999. And this is a watch you rarely see, and that's because I rarely see it. It spends most of the time in a box at the bank, and occasionally I pop in and I wind it and dote on it and look at it and appreciate it, but it has literally not been on my wrist in years. And as you can see, hollow in links, holes case, and super luminova. And why is it on my wrist today? Well, I thought, it hasn't really been worn at all. And yes, it gets wound once a month, but is that really enough? I mean, I think that's good to get the oils going a little bit and get the gears moving inside. But what it really needs to do is get on the wrist and live life for a couple weeks at least. And so that's what it's doing. And what's the difference between this and, say, the P-Serial? Well, you're going to see the P-Serial at the end of this video, but take a look at the bezel. Now, the numerals on the bezel are thicker, and there's also serifs on the numbers. And the P-Serial came with a black bezel, and the numerals look the very same, but the newer bezels have no serifs and a thinner font. And, for a while, I was under the impression that that was a sign of originality, and that is the case, but in the later years, 2000, I want to say 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, the pre-ceramics started using that thinner sans serif font. And it's not the best indicator of originality, but for example, if you were looking at a P-Serial or an A-Serial, that comes from 2000, 1999 respectively, then an original bezel insert would have those thicker numerals and the serifs, I want to say. But again, there's so many exceptions with Rolex. And so, if you go back to, say, 95, could you find a different font with the sans serif and the thinner numerals? Probably. So it's not a hard and fast rule. And, when you try to make it one, then you realize quickly that there are exceptions all over the place. So which numerals do I like better? Well, I gotta be honest, I'm so used to the thinner ones that I've started to like those more, but these I think have more of a vintage look. And of course it's original, so you gotta love that. Now, how do I feel having this on my wrist? Well, actually I can't really get into the details right now, but looking at it, I mean, it's not quite as perfect as I sort of thought it was, in my, my mental conception of it. There are actually a few issues with the bezel insert, so it's not quite perfect. And what are they? Let's see if we can see it. Well, if you look at between the 14 and the 16, I'm gonna move it so the light hits it. But do you see? It looks like it was just kind of pressed down there a little bit. There is at the 18, at the top of that 8, you can see there's a little, looks like the bezel insert was scratched. And I seem to remember, let's see if I can find it. There are a couple little nicks. Oh, there it is. Okay, between the 20 and the 22, do you see the dot? You can barely even see it, but those are two little nicks. You can see them right there, double nicks at the dot, and you can see right there. It's still a great example, but you could never pass this off as new old stock, and it's clearly a used piece. Of course, this is a box and papers piece, and it's never been polished. My P-Serial hasn't been polished either. I'd say overall this is a nicer example, and it edges out the P-Serial, I think, because of the it's just a little nicer, and plus it's got the papers. So this is sort of the hoarding watch, if you're into that kind of thing. But I got to ask myself if I want to fit it out with the bezel inserts, the black and the Coke, and if I want to get a Jubilee bracelet on it. And I got to say, I've got to make another video about Jubilee bracelets because I absolutely love Jubilee bracelets. But yeah, that's something I need to ask myself. Do I want to get the Jubilee bracelet while I can? There may come a time in the future when you can't get Jubilee bracelets, the pre-ceramic Jubilee bracelets with the hollow end links. And, when Rolex, I'm assuming they're still making them, but when they decide that they don't need to anymore, then it's over and you'd have to source one. And so I've got to ask myself if I want to fit this one out. And it's an expensive proposition, so I got to think long and hard about it. And, in the coming days of wearing this, I'll sort of think about it. But yeah, I'm headed to RSC today. I'm going to pick up the P-Serial, and it's going to have the Coke bezel. It'll have those thinner numerals and sans serif numerals. And yeah, perhaps I'll pop that into the bank safe and hoard the P-Serial for a while. So there you go. This is running, by the way, when I put it in the bank safe years ago, after wearing it for just a little while, I want to say it was like plus, I don't know, 0.3 seconds a day, and it's still pretty much the same. So it hasn't changed, which is a good thing. My sub did. My sub was less than, it was about plus, I want to say plus 0.5 seconds a day. And after a long time of wearing it, it has jumped from that to about plus 2 a day, which kind of sucks. But anyway, so there you go. A rare look at the A-Serial. And I got to say, I'm enjoying it. I really am. I mean, for a long time, I just didn't get enjoyment out of wearing it because I was so protective of it. But it's kind of nice having the P-Serial because I feel like when I'm wearing one, the other can be sort of, I don't know, sitting somewhere safe. And maybe that gives a person like me a bit of peace of mind. And I don't know, one to hoard, one to wear. And which one is hoarded, which one is worn? Well, it doesn't always have to be the A-Serial that's hoarded, right? So anyway, take care. And in the coming footage, check out the P-Serial, which has the Pepsi bezel, and look at the difference between those numerals. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.